Has the COVID-19 situation brought a new perspective on how you guys like look at jobs? Be like stability and security in an established company would be more important than riskier jobs like maybe in retail or like service industries.
A lot of my friends who just graduated ended up having to take jobs that probably 1 year ago they might have rejected just because the job market is so bad right now. And you should be grateful if you even can get a job because it's increasingly competitive. I think that's also a reality that I've been trying to wrap my head around for the upcoming year, to probably just taking a job that might give me a certain sense of stability instead of waiting around and being picky because we can't afford to be right now. I think my ideal job would be a job that gives me a certain amount of creative freedom.
Yeah.
That's very, very important. I mean, I went to School of the Arts before I went to university. The whole arts industry and that creative aspect is really, really important for me. And I think it's where I thrive. Definitely a job that's intellectually stimulating. I don't think I would thrive in like a typical 9-to-5 job where there isn't like a steep learning curve. So the third one would definitely be a very, very steep learning curve where I would kind of keep going up the ranks, because I think I'm by nature quite a competitive and quite an ambitious person. So I wouldn't be able to stay in the same job for too long without knowing that I'm growing and I'm constantly like being challenged.
I think a lot of people do think, I'd rather do a job that's easier or something that doesn't require as much work. They don't realize that, that steep learning curve really, or throwing you into the deep end of the pool, sometimes really helps people to learn quite a lot faster and learn a lot more on the ground.
For me, it goes back to my thinking of myself as a salesperson. So for me, salary is actually the most important thing. I am very money minded in that sense. If the company is offering me top dollar for my services, I'll be there 100%. The other two things are a bit more softer in that sense. I look for diversity, be it in the workplace or be it in my job itself. I feel the need to be doing something different, interacting with different people from different backgrounds. That is very important to me. I don't want to be doing the same monotonous job in that sense. Finally, it's the company culture, because at the end of the day, and I'll keep harping on this, joining the right company is by far one of the most important things you can do. You can't be too picky right now. You really cannot. What you should do is study the companies that you would want, and you think, okay, this is an ideal company. It doesn't need to be small or big, startup, SME or MNC. They all have a learning experience out there waiting for you. I think you have to be persuasive. You have to challenge the person interviewing you as well, because that shows character. That shows that you understand the company and you know what you want and you know what you're looking for. And that gives them an insight into your character also. So that's very, very important. It's really your experiences in the job that help you more than anything. Learning on the job is probably the best way to learn. Of course, you should go out there and get a degree. It's very, very important. People look at that as a form of benchmark, but it is not the most important thing in my opinion.
So is starting up your own company like a popular thing among your peers? What do your like friends think about that? Are they like inclined to do it, or are they inclined to go into like the traditional like structural company?
I think increasingly it's becoming a lot more popular. And I think social media has a big part to play in that, because, compared to like our parents' generation, it's so much easier for people in our generation to take on like a digital social enterprise, for example, to start digital movements. It's a lot easier, and it's a lot, there's a lot more convenience in gaining a following than, maybe like 10, 12 years ago, precisely because of technology and social media. So, I mean, even in uni, I'm not sure about you, Maxine, but I've got so many friends who've created their own apps, who've started like small businesses.
Yeah.
It actually gains a certain amount of success. So I think, on a societal level, we're definitely moving more towards that, especially now because we've proven that people can work remotely and actually be successful at that. So it's going to move away from big corporations and more into, individual corporations, individual success.
Eventually, even as a recruiter as myself, I do see myself opening up my own recruitment firm. That is the goal. I mean, you want success for yourself. Everyone wants success for themselves, and they have to be able, like Joel said, have a 3-year, 5-year, 10-year plan and work towards that plan. If that plan is to own your own business in 10 years, that is how you got to work.
I don't know if any of you have mentors or had mentors who helped shape your decision-making process?
On having a mentor, yeah, I definitely think it's very, very important. And the mentor should be someone you have a very deeply personal relationship with, because at the end of the day, I think more than job development, it's about personal development, at least for me. I'm glad, I mean, I'm blessed. My mentor is my dad. He knows me better than anybody else knows me. And it's good because I think it's less focused on what job do you want to go down, or like what job path do you want to go down, but more, you know, what are the skills that you are the best in, what do you need to work on. And he's connected me with a lot of different people. He's obviously encouraged me to take on many different types of internships. And I think the biggest lesson would have been, like Joel said, going out of your comfort zone. So I've done internships in many, many different areas, and some of them were completely foreign to me. But you definitely come out of it learning something. And I think we're moving more towards a very, very interdisciplinary world where skills are not as mutually exclusive as they used to be, and different job sectors are not as mutually exclusive as they used to be. And so definitely, I think going back to the mentor thing, having one core mentor who knows you at a very personal level, it doesn't need to be a family member, of course, but someone that you cultivate a very deep personal relationship with. And I think also having smaller mentors in different areas, like it's very important, I think, to make personal connections with people.
Don't parents as mentors become tormentors as well?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, then we'll take you off the hook on that one.
As young students, we need to really step out of our comfort zones and try to meet new people.
I'm a recruiter, and probably won't hear a lot of recruiters saying this, I don't know. But if you've just graduated, don't go through a recruiter. They're probably not going to be able to help you. You've got to help yourself on this one, because a recruiter is good for people who've got a few years of experience, or for someone who's very niche, very specialized. That's where we excel in. But for you, you've got to be your own salesperson now. You've got to target and follow up. Those are the two most important things, I would say. When I say target, I'm talking making a list of companies that you want to join, finding out who are the right people to speak to on those companies, and then chatting with them, as you said, on LinkedIn, you know, trying to get a conversation started, trying to meet them for a coffee or something. And beyond that, following up with them. That is the most important thing, because that shows that you are committed. And people only want committed people to join their firm.
Like, because of the job loss and the COVID and all that stuff, what do you think is the mentality that will help you succeed most?
More often than not, what I've seen is the sense of determination that, you know, if I'm in a job, I have to do it right. And that idea that, you know, you've got to treat everything as a learning experience. Even in failure, there's something to learn. So when a person is just starting out, get into the job and don't ask for anything. Don't be like, oh, you know, leave this salary, whatever. Go in there, do your job. That's the most important thing, and do it to the best of your ability, because if you keep doing that, eventually you're not going to be the one chasing for a job. I'm going to start chasing you.
Do you see yourself kind of staying within one industry once you find a job, or do you see yourself moving across industries or moving within the industry as well?
Yeah, I definitely don't see myself staying in one industry like my whole life. Just my nature, probably. I would just want to explore and learn as much as possible. Coming straight out of uni, I would even be open to taking a job in a really remote part of the world. Just because when you're young, this is the time you should be doing that. I definitely feel like once I reach a certain level of stability, probably in my late 20s or maybe early 30s, once I've got a sense of the different, you know, like what I do best, then I'll probably find a stable job. But I think at least in my 20s, I can see myself exploring different job options, and even either within the industry or going across different industries. I'm quite open. I mean, but at the same time, I feel like if I actually do come across a job that is really right for me and that I feel I'm growing and I'm able to make a difference at the same time, I don't see why I would say no to staying in that industry. Like, I don't think I would move for the sake of moving.
Sorry, why do you crave stability? Look at the world today. You've got disruptions. People are losing jobs that they thought they were stable in. You've got COVID and your whole environment has shifted. Isn't the ability to withstand instability a useful thing to have as part of your psyche, so that you can approach jobs and your life in a more fluid manner rather than in a structured, confined way, and then find it shattering around you?
If I find a stable position where I feel I'm doing what I love, I'm making a difference, and it's ticking off all my boxes, I don't see why I wouldn't stay in that company. Like, I don't think I would be one of those people to just move from job to job just for the sake of doing so. And I feel like, I mean, there are lots of people who find their calling, find their purpose at a very young age and stick to that their entire life. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So that could
You're
easily
absolutely
happen
right.
to me.
There's nothing wrong in that. A change in job environment from time to time is good, just so that you're given exposure and you're given a different understanding of how things could work, and that is very important. But otherwise, yes, there's nothing wrong in remaining in that sweet spot where you found for yourself and you're excelling in.
What is one thing that the government can do that will improve like the job situation for you?
Giving more support to industries like the arts, teaching, and the humanities areas. I think that's probably one thing that could be done, because I know a lot of people just feel like they can't pursue those areas of work in Singapore just because it's not supported enough by the government. There isn't enough funding and research going into those areas, which I understand on one hand, because, you know, the fact is, especially during COVID, those are not essential jobs right now, and they're not where actual growth and practical work is. But it'll definitely diversify the job market a lot and allow people to really pursue what they want.
What is your dream job, and what is like the worst possible job that you could have?
Wherever it is that I choose to go, if I can learn a lot and maximize my capabilities, that probably will be the dream job for me. The worst job would be definitely the opposite.
If I were to picture kind of an ideal, it would probably be running my own company, and I would want to bring something that would allow me to marry my passion of art and theatre with doing good and social enterprise. I do believe that even if you are in a stagnant job, it's your prerogative to go out of your job and to find ways to grow. I mean, we've got the internet, we've got social media. There's so many ways you can grow and you can learn on your own.
Maxine, do you want to answer your own question about a dream job?
I don't know if I have a dream, like a specific dream job, but I think the worst job I can do is anything that requires like physical manual labor.
Okay, time to go to the gym and build up some muscles. Well, thank you all for being in the session. Maxine, for leading the discussion as well. Nitin, Maya, Joel. I think the whole notion of jobs will, we all need jobs in some form or fashion to see us through our lives. It'll be a challenge for sure, given the uncertainty ahead about the kind of jobs that you want and what you'll actually wind up doing. So an open mind is important. And I think the constant quest to keep learning is paramount perhaps in this whole process. Always want to find out more and learn more. The world's changing so much, you've got to learn it as it comes along anyway, right? So I'm wishing you all the best for your futures in your respective careers and in your studies and whatever else you do after that. Thank you to the audience. Thank you for the great questions as well. And thank you for being on this Wednesday web chat with Storm Asia and with Zoho and OU as our partners.